Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a pretty startling reality about your daily consumer habits. We are looking at a profoundly disturbing concept, the dark psychology behind consumer spending. It's a fascinating but honestly a slightly terrifying look at the hidden mechanics behind our everyday purchases. So let's just dive right into it with a really critical question. Who actually controls your wallet? I mean, you might think you're making completely independent, rational choices when you're at the store or browsing online, right? You look at a price tag, you evaluate your monthly budget, maybe you even consult a little color-coded spreadsheet, and then you make a logical decision. Well, it turns out there's actually a hidden mastermind at play here, and this completely challenges our fundamental belief in our own free will when it comes to shopping. All right, part one, the dark psychology. Okay, so what do we actually mean by dark psychology? Basically, it's the hidden psychological tactics employed behind consumer spending. We aren't just talking about clever marketing or colorful packaging here. This isn't a flashy billboard or a catchy jingle that you can consciously evaluate and just decide to ignore. No, this is a deliberate, shadowy strategy designed to completely bypass your conscious awareness. Think about things like decoy pricing, where they introduce a third, slightly worse option just to make the most expensive option look like a total bargain. Or artificial scarcity, like that classic only 2 items left in stock, flashing in red text. That literally triggers an immediate panic response in your amygdala. These forces drive consumerism by operating quietly in the background of our cognition, entirely unseen by the average shopper. So who exactly is pulling the strings here? The masterminds are the companies themselves. They aren't passive sellers just dutifully putting items on a shelf for your convenience. They're active architects of your purchasing decisions. I mean, retailers literally design store layouts to ensure you get lost in the middle aisles. It's that classic, I just came in for milk, but now I have a cart full of decorative pillows phenomenon. It's definitely not an accident. It's by design. They're utilizing these shadowy psychological frameworks to tilt the odds heavily in their favor before you even walk through the sliding doors. Moving on to part 2, targeting your brain. There is this kind of terrifying contrast at the heart of modern shopping, your conscious choice versus corporate brain manipulation. You walk into a store thinking you're playing a game of logic. You honestly believe you're rationally evaluating a product, weighing the pros and cons, and making an independent choice. But companies, they're actually engaging directly with your psychological triggers. It's a total mismatch. They know exactly how to bypass your logical prefrontal cortex and appeal directly to your emotional, impulsive lizard brain. And this manipulation happens through a really calculated step-by-step pipeline. Step 1, they deploy psychological triggers, like playing a slower tempo of background music to subconsciously slow down your walking pace, just so you spend more time looking at items. Step 2, those triggers actively manipulate your brain's reward centers, literally releasing a hit of dopamine at the mere sight of a bold red sales sticker. And step 3, that mental manipulation directly influences your wallet. It's psychological hacking, plain and simple, transforming you from a casual browser into a committed buyer. They don't just ask for your money. They orchestrate a cognitive environment where your brain is actively manipulated into happily handing it right over. Which brings us to part 3, making you spend more. The absolute undeniable goal here is this. Companies act to, quote, manipulate your brain to make you spend more. The entire psychological apparatus we've been discussing is designed for this one singular purpose. It's unvarnished, it's direct, and it is incredibly revealing about how we consumers are viewed. There's no grand conspiracy to improve your life here. The objective is pure extraction. When a food delivery app sends you a push notification at exactly 5:30 p.m. on a Friday, knowing you're tired and highly vulnerable to ordering takeout, yeah, that's an intentional tactic deployed strictly to increase your spending. And the end result? Increased spending. It's a simple, albeit unsettling equation. Successful brain manipulation equals more of your hard-earned money ending up in their corporate pockets. Every hidden nudge, every carefully calculated font size on a price tag, every artificially scarce limited edition release, it all culminates in a much larger receipt at the end of your shopping trip. You're left wondering where your budget went, while their quarterly profits just keep climbing. All right, part 4, the final checkout. So let's quickly recap this whole unseen transaction. Companies use dark psychology, your brain is manipulated, and you spend more money. And honestly, once you know the playbook, you really can't unsee the game being played against you in the aisles. Your spending just isn't about simple supply and demand anymore. It's the result of a highly sophisticated corporate playbook turning your biological impulses into reliable profit. So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought for your next trip to the store. Next time you buy, ask yourself, is this my choice or was my brain manipulated? When you reach for your wallet, are you fulfilling a genuine need or are you just completing step 3 of their master plan? Keep that in mind, stay vigilant out there, and thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.